80 years a performer, thousands of magic and hypnosis shows, giving joy to people around the world, over 40 books on magic and hypnotism, hundreds of classes and workshops, an expert in coins, a coin collector, a stamp collector, a shell collector, butterflies and bugs, friends from every part of the world and every walk of life, the love of his life and a life full of love, and his magic will live forever. Make life your playground, not your battlefield. The Magical Life of Ormond McGill. A long, long time ago, no, not that long ago. Ah, yes, Ormond's family, no, not that tree. Ah, yes, it starts back with a great-grandfather. He looks a little bit like maybe Mark Twain, but no, he wasn't. Ormond's grandfather, a distinguished gentleman, and Ormond's father, a very interesting man who helped Ormond frame the rest of his life. And Ormond? Yes, a wizard is born. You can tell as a young boy, he was very sure of himself. You can see his determination. As he was growing up, you could see he knew what he wanted, even at a very young age. Some people think he's the original Harry Potter. If you look closely, you might see it. Oh, well, maybe not. Young Ormond became a professional magician while he was still in high school. He enjoyed dressing up, and he enjoyed entertaining people. He was a magician for all occasions. And of course, as a performer, he was very mysterious. Dr. Zom was born. He wanted to do some midnight shows. He decided to go under the name of Dr. Zombie, and they thought that was a little bit too much, so they shortened it to Dr. Zom. He produced the Midnight Spook Shows from 1935 to 1954. It was titled under a lot of different titles, including the London Hypnotic Seance, and it usually played at midnight after some horror movies. Here's the Town Theater in San Jose, and again, Dr. Zom's Seance of Wonders. Ormond met the love of his life. Her name was Delight, and she was. She came from a talented family. That's Delight on the slack rope, and her brother Robert, and her sister Anna May. Oh yes, they were entertainers too. Ormond and Delight in 1941. They got married in 1943. And together they traveled around the world, Delight always assisting and helping Ormond. His first book, How to Produce Miracles, was in 1944, and it is still one of the most popular books today. In 1945, he appeared on the Art Linkletter Show. Ah yes, Art was astounded at what people would do under hypnosis. In 1947, he published the Encyclopedia of Genuine Stage Hypnotism, in 1950, Atomic Magic, and in 1951, A Better Life Through Using Conscious Self-Hypnosis. The Encyclopedia of Genuine Stage Hypnotism became the gospel for all stage hypnotists, until Ormond later published updated editions. In 1952, he produced his East Indian Miracles Show. It was based on Indian traditions and Indian magic. 1955 through 59, Ormond and Delight traveled the world. They traveled the South Seas, they traveled to India, and to Asia. Yes, he actually loved the South Seas, and his South Sea Island magic was a theme for his shows through the rest of his life. He invented so many things. Here, the sacrificial head cremation. Ormond was really a gentleman, but he had this interesting dark side. He introduced the window sleep. He would put a woman into hypnotic trance, allow her to sleep in a window, then have the police take her to the theater where he would awaken her on stage. Got a lot of publicity. And he was touring overseas with Ron Ormond, and they studied many of the mysteries of the East. Here, Ormond and Delight in 1958, after they had returned. And back home, another one of Ormond's delights, the sword basket. He would put a person into the basket, shove swords through it at many different angles. And when he opened the basket, hopefully, the person came out in one piece. He published in 1959 Into the Strange Unknown, later revised and expanded into Religious Mysteries of the Orient. These books documented his tours through India and Southeast Asia. He had 3 movies. One movie was Please Don't Touch Me. You can see Ormond here assisting. He loved seashells. In fact, when they started collecting seashells, Delight said, at last something we both can enjoy totally. Here's Ormond and Delight with some of their seashells that they've collected over the years. Some very large and some very small, some very decorative. That's almost like going to an aquarium to visit his house and his marvelous collection of seashells. He collected the shells. He also was a dealer to many of the shops up and down the coast of California. He also loved, as you can see here, butterflies. Here's Ormond and Delight in the living room with some of their furniture. In 1970, he published The Art of Stage Hypnotism. In 1970, he also did The Secret World of Witchcraft and Entertaining with Magic. 1970 through 1975, he gave lectures to schools on insects of the world, displaying their collections of butterflies and insects. Ormond became an expert in insects. And, of course, butterflies. 1976, Delight passed away on August 28th. 1976, Ormond met Chuck Mignosa and started performing and lecturing together. And they performed, lectured, and wrote together from then until he passed in 2005. Magic and Stage Hypnotism. Over 800 shows and magic and hypnotism shows. Chuck assisted Ormond in his show, and Ormond assisted Chuck with Chuck shows. It was strange having a man like Ormond McGill as an assistant, but it was a lot of fun. 1976 to 2005, together Chuck and Ormond gave lectures and workshops to many hypnosis schools throughout the U.S. and England. 1977, he published Professional Stage Hypnotism. In 1980, at the Magic Gathering with Chuck Kirkham and Chuck Mignosa, Ormond was well known in both the hypnosis and the magic communities. In 1981, he joined the staff of the Hypnotherapy Training Institute in Northern California, and he also published Hypnotism and Meditation. In 1981, he met Diana England, and together they created a recording called Hypnomeditation, which was also a book. In 1986, he published The Magic and Illusions of Lee Grable, illustrated by Patrick Martin. Here's Lee and Helen Grable with Ormond and Marlene Mulder. In 1990, he has an ongoing association with the National Guild of Hypnotists. Together with Dr. Dwight Damon, Ormond was always welcomed at the Guild and loved to come and lecture and perform. 1995, the National Guild declared the Year of McGill, and the New Hampshire State Legislature declared congratulations to Ormond McGill for 60 years as a showman and an author. In 1996, he was awarded an honorary Ph.D. in hypnotherapy by St. John's University in Louisiana. 1996, the new Encyclopedia of Stage Hypnotism was published. Also in 1997, Seeing the Unseen, his first movement into fiction that may not be fiction. In 1998, he developed the Serenity Resonance Sound with Chuck Mignosa and Joe Worrell. 1998 to 2005 with Jerry Valley and Chuck Mignosa. He presented workshops on stage hypnotism and magic in San Jose, Boston, London, and Las Vegas. 2003, he published The Secrets of Dr. Zom, the autobiography of Ormond McGill. Also, The Secrets of Stage Mind Reading. Ormond McGill, a magician, a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, an author, a world traveler, an entertainer, a trainer, and a guru. The man known around the world as the Dean of American Hypnotists. Ormond's secrets of long life: beautiful women. No, not just beautiful women. Daily chocolate mocha chip milkshakes at the Peninsula Creamery. Yes, Ormond's secrets of long life. Every day when he was in Palo Alto, from the day the Peninsula Creamery opened, he always had a chocolate mocha chip milkshake. In fact, here's a picture from a magazine featuring Ormond. And here he is in front of the Peninsula Creamery. Now, especially sharing them with friends like Patrick Martin, chocolate mocha chip milkshakes are wonderful. Butterflies. Ormond had a passion for butterflies, and he became an expert in them. He donated the butterfly collection to Marine World after the light passed away, and actually somebody had stolen them. And so he met a gentleman by the name of David Parkinson, who also was a butterfly collector, and together they started to reconstruct Ormond's collection. Here's some of them. Interestingly, Ormond not only collected the butterflies, but he arranged them. He had a marvelous artistic eye. Of course, he did have a degree in art. Not only butterflies, but moths and other flying insects. They're really wonderful to look at. Here's some of his bugs. And of course, the ultimate compliment that somebody can be given in a field is to have a butterfly named after them. And this, of course, has happened for Ormond. It's called the Achelis ormandi, and here it is. Magic. Magic was always the center of Ormond's life. He loved magic. He loved being with people to astound them, make them have a sense of wonder. Here he is with some of the real traditional people in magic. Jane Marshall, Max Maven, Ormond, of course, Billy McComb, Eugene Berger, Chuck Mignosa, and Jeff McBride. Ormond loved teaching. Here he was teaching some children with Jeff McBride and Billy McComb. Another magical friend. Sometimes they can be frightening. This is Doc Hilford. Here's Ormond teaching magic. Together with Chuck Mignosa, he taught magic for presentations for the people who took the stage hypnosis shows. It was a wonderful time. People absolutely loved listening to him and his psychology of magic and presentation. Christmas at the Olmsteds. Ormond was always willing to do some magic with any ordinary object. Here he is doing some magic with an ordinary handkerchief. Here he is with Milt Larson, who is one of the owners of the Academy of Magical Arts, the Magic Castle in Los Angeles. Ormond, John Calvert, and Patrick Martin. In hypnosis, here's Ormond and a good friend, Al Krasner, at Ormond's 85th birthday. They exchanged each other's books together and had a wonderful evening. Here's Ormond and Marlene Mulder celebrating their birthday. Believe it or not, Marlene was born the same day, same month as Ormond, of course in a different year. But they were wonderful, wonderful friends. Here's Ormond in February 2005 doing a workshop in Las Vegas for the Golden Weekend. Ormond and Chuck at the National Guild in August of 2005. Now, Ormond loved to lecture, and he had a wonderful way about him, a simple way. He loved to do some magic. And of course, he loved hypnosis. Sometimes he wondered what was actually happening. But he always had something to say and loved talking. Ormond and Marlene together. Ormond on his 92nd birthday, he said, "Make life a playground, not a battlefield." We're grateful for the wealth of magical memories and love gifts he left us, and are glad he has now joined his beloved wife, Delight.